Okay, so the other thing that they want you to know in this section is to have a conceptual understanding of what LVM is. So LVM is logical volume management. And the way that it works is it takes physical volumes, which you can think of as hard disks. So you could have multiple hard disk drives in a machine, and basically all of those physical volumes makes up the volume groups. So then from the volume groups, you can create logical volumes, which then become disk partitions on the system. And if you run out of space, you could add an extra physical volume to the machine, add it to the volume group, and then you can extend the logical volume to have more space, and then resize that disk partition using the file system commands. So if you wanted to add, say, a second hard disk, you may use pv-create/dev/sdb1 to add the sdb1 partition of the new disk to the physical volumes that it knows about. And then what you want to do is you want to extend the volume group. So you may make volume group 1 include SDB1. So that way that disk is now part of the volume group. And then you want to extend the logical volume. So lv extend -l plus 1000G is 1000 gigabytes, or you could go +1 capital T for 1 terabyte /dev/vg1/data. And then once you've extended the logical volume, you would then resize the file system that's on that volume group using whatever file system command that particular file system uses. So different file systems have different commands for resizing partitions, so it would depend. So an ext based file system would be different to xfs, which would be different to btrfs. So the different file systems have their own commands for doing the resizing, but once you've extended the logical volume, you can then resize the partition that the system uses, which I guess is fairly handy if you need to extend the disk later on. Now, the only other thing to be aware of is that if you're using LVM and you have, say, 1 drive, 2 drives, 3 drives, say you have 3 physical hard drives that make up the physical volumes, and you add that into the volume groups and you make logical volumes from it, if this hard drive here was to fail, then basically you lose everything. There's no data redundancy, there's no protection. It allows you to create a really big disk from multiple disks, and it's very flexible, but there's no protection. So rather than using just hard disks, you may have some sort of RAID groups, so that has data redundancy built in. Or maybe you have SAN storage devices or something like that that you add into the system. But if the physical volumes that you're using don't have any data redundancy in there, like any data protection from failure, disk failure, then if one of the drives die, like disk 3 dies, it's game over, you lose everything. So with the physical volumes, with LVM, if you want to protect the system from one of the disks dying, then the physical volumes have to have some sort of redundancy in there. So that's just something to be aware of. While LVM is really good at giving you lots and lots of extra disk space, there's no protection from disk failure. So that is, I guess, a quick overview of LVM to give you that conceptual understanding that they want you to have. And I will end the video there.